We're coupled up. Brakes are released. We're ready for our departure. So here we are, all coupled up, ready to begin our adventure in our ascent from the food factory to Harbour Town with a brand new train. Rather than show you all of the preliminaries this time around, I've decided to get straight into the action. But if you're interested in how we got to this place, then stick around at the end of the video where I show you how I picked up the job and got to the stage where I coupled up the train. So here we are in the cab, ready to depart, but let's have a look at our mission for the day. Earlier in the day, we stopped by the station office and picked up this job here, a delivery from the food factory to Harbour Town, which was what we were unsuccessful in doing last time. But this time we've selected a more manageable load. Our train is 153 tonnes compared to the 380 tonnes that we had previously. Let's see if that makes a difference. Okay, let's get going. Time to engage gear and start our ascent up the hill. Brakes off. Here we go. We can see it's already starting to drizzle, and that's a bit of a concern because it's simply the fact that I lose traction a lot once I'm trying to climb up the hill. But hopefully with a lighter load this time and judicious use of sand, perhaps we'll make it this time around. And to try to pick up as much speed as I can whilst we're on the flat here. But the difficulty is, as soon as we go around the corner that's coming up, we immediately start to hit the rise, and we're on a 30 kilometre an hour speed limit at that stage as well. But we can't go too fast or we risk derailing. There's 30 kilometres. Already we can hear that the engine is under some load as I start to go up the preliminary part of the hill. Drop to gear. But so far at least, things seem to be a little bit easier with the lighter load. But the rain is increasing, so we'll see how we go. I'm not going fast, but doing 20 kilometres an hour or so, well within the speed limit. But most importantly, so far I'm managing the oil temperature okay, whilst the tachometer is showing constant revolutions of the wheels. So we don't want those wheels spinning too fast. I think that's the time that we lose traction. But then again, we need to keep forward momentum as well, otherwise we do risk spinning. Haven't had to use any sand though so far, and that's a good sign. Speed's increased now, which is great. Revolutions are still alright, and our oil temperature has not exceeded the danger level. I'm pleased about that. Coming up to the first of the tunnels. It was around about this time that I started to really struggle in the previous episode. Still going okay. The rain is constant, but it's not, doesn't seem to be increasing at this stage. We'll just keep persevering at this rate. The speed is starting to drop now, and I'm starting to feel a bit more drag as I'm going up this part of the hill or mountain. I'm not sure which to call it. I think considering the trouble that I have, at least for my ego, I should call it a mountain. I've dropped down a gear now. But so far, still no wheel slip, and I guess that's the main thing. Managed to increase a gear, and again we're keeping our oil temperature relatively low. Our revolutions are constant, and our speed is increasing again as we go into the second tunnel. Certainly a lot more manageable than it was last time. I'm not sure how much further it is to the top of the ascent, but yeah, we seem to be progressing along nicely at the moment. Still hovering around about that 20km/h speed. As we can see on the map there, we're about to enter in a loop, so we're obviously still climbing until we get to the stage where the track basically passes back over the top of us again. We can tell from the sounds we're in a tunnel again. Speed has decreased. I don't mind going slow, as long as we get there in the end. Making sure that all of our points are set correctly. I've opted to take the same route that I did in our last episode to see whether it's the lighter load that makes a difference if we're successful this time around. Rain is really starting to plummet down now. And that was our first little bit of wheel slip. So I'll apply some sand here. But we have progressed a fair way up the mountain, so hopefully we've got sufficient reserve to be able to help us up the grade without running out. Once I run out of sand, it seems to be all over Red Rover. Really trying to perform some good engine management as we go along. Also to apply my theory that if we allow the wheels to rotate too quickly, that also increases the risk of us getting wheel slip. Equally well, applying too much power when the wheels are not turning very quickly. That's also a time where I seem to experience the wheel slip a lot. Now, mind you, most of this really only applies when it's raining, as it is now. Otherwise, we seem to be able to cope reasonably well in a multiple range of. But I'm in fourth gear now. Seems to be a reasonable midpoint. This seems to be one of the steepest parts of the ascent. But our oil temperature is fine. Our revolutions are not decreasing, even though our speed is under 10 kilometers an hour now. Hopefully, if we can get over this hump, we'll be okay. Just having a look at our sand reserves, we've still got around about 3/4 the sand, so I'll try dropping it back a little bit, decrease the flow or the rate in which I'm dumping sand. Managed to go up a gear, but whilst I did that, you heard the gearbox crunch. That's because I was a bit shy to let our revolutions drop too much, because we might have gained momentum, or at least lost momentum. Now we seem to be increasing a little in speed. And to apply the brakes for this tight turn, and in doing so, the engine cut out. So I have to be really, really careful, not only So I have to be really careful not only in, in trying to increase speed, but also when I'm trying to decrease speed as well. If we apply the brakes too aggressively whilst the engine is under load, it seems that that causes it to cut out as well. So far so good. Our sand reserves are still more than adequate. And I think that we've got past the point where we were having all of the problems last time. So we've made progress. But I'm not yet prepared to say that this is going to be a successful attempt. Let's see how we go. Speed, though, is going up. And things are feeling a lot better now. Perhaps we're over the worst of it. Dawn's breaking in Derail Valley, but we're back in the dark again. But it's good to see that we seem to be starting to move along at an easier pace now. Definitely feels like we're much flatter. I think we should turn off the wipers. That squeak gets to be a little bit annoying. Of course, it's not raining in the tunnel. We're up to 6th gear now, and we're moving along nearly 30 kilometres now. So things are looking good. Speed limit is 60, so we've got plenty of headroom. We can accelerate as much as possible, just in case there's another uphill burst ahead that I'm unaware of. I'm getting so excited at being able to travel greater than 10 or 20 kilometres an hour that I forgot to monitor the oil temperature. So we still do need to make sure that we don't allow that to go too high, because we can damage our engine even when we're travelling too fast. I'd say we're over the summit now, and hopefully we'll be headed on our way back down soon. Certainly appears that way on the map. And there we are. We see where we've already come from. This is the track as it enters into the loop, I believe, that allows us now to pass over the top. So we're definitely either at or past the apex of the hill. And now we should begin our descent back into the plains. Speed limit here, 90 kilometres an hour, seems to indicate also that the expectation is that we should be able to go as fast as we possibly can. That being said, the DM3 is certainly not a speed demon. I believe our top speed is somewhere around about 65. And because the motor is if you like, permanently attached to the driving wheels. That means that if we allow our wheels to rotate too fast, it also has the potential of allowing the motor to spin too quickly, which can cause damage as well. So again, we need to not only ensure that we protect the motor when it's under load going up the hill, but also that we don't allow the motor to spin too quickly by increasing our speed too much as we go down the hill. I'm happy with our progress so far, but there's still quite a long way to go. So far, nice constant speed, constant revolutions, and even though our oil temperature is a little high, as you can see, there's a warning light that intermittently flashes on and off above the gauge. Overall, it's staying reasonably steady as well. I think we're on the right track. Okay, so yeah, now we need to manage the descent. We're picking up a lot of speed here. And after all this good work, I certainly don't want to come off the tracks at this stage. Well, 30 kilometres is this bend. We need to bring the speed down as quickly as we can. We seem to have been able to achieve that. I guess the reason the speedometer is showing 0 here is I'm trying to apply the brakes that uses the engine revolutions to help the train to slow down. I think they're called dynamic brakes. So you might recall the DM3 has got 3 types of brakes. It's got the independent brake, which is a brake that is just applied to the locomotive itself. It has the train brakes, which uses air pressure in order to engage the brake shoes across the entire length of the train, as long as everything is rigged up correctly. And then it has this dynamic brake, where you can try to control the speed of your locomotive by using some of the revolutions of the engine to apply a braking solution to the engine itself. But I must say I don't seem to find that one to be too effective, so my main use on hills like this is to use judicious use of the train brakes, the air brakes. DM3 for its air brakes has something they call lap braking. That means that you should be able to partially apply the brakes and then to leave them in that position so that it's not slowing down too aggressively. But again, that seems to be a little bit of a technique that takes some learning to do properly. Apply the brakes too aggressively and you do risk causing the motor of the train to cut out. But I think we're doing all right. Well, it's certainly been a long time since I've been travelling at this sort of speed. It feels really nice. Beautiful here. Out of one tunnel and back into another. Lots of changing speed limits on this section of the track that you need to be aware of and pay close attention to. Very, very easy to miss a speed sign and then find that you're careering around a 30 kilometre an hour bend at 50 or 60 kilometres or more. Let's just have a look at our progress. Yeah, still a reasonable way to go before we get to Harbour Town, which is at the lower right of the map there. But still, it's a lot more relaxing trip so far. Once we got past that big, steep, horrendous hill. I guess I also find that's one of the reasons that I enjoy Derail Valley, because not only does it have its stressful moments and its challenging times, but then once you manage to get past that, it's quite relaxing. So you get sort of the best of both worlds, a little bit of excitement, a little bit of peace and relaxation. It's a pretty good combination. We seem to be making reasonable time, even though we had a slower ascent. I think we've made up a bit of time coming back down the hill. So I think we stand a chance of perhaps even getting a bonus on this particular run, as long as things continue to go according to plan. And that's going to be quite important for us, because I have desires to move up to the next locomotive size. I believe that's called a DH4 or is it DM4? Can't recall if it's a diesel hydraulic or a diesel mechanical with the DM3. I think it's a DH4. And I believe it's about $50,000 or credits or whatever it is that we use here. So, with the money that we've currently got in our wallet, the money that we should be making from hopefully a reasonably successful run today, less any costs for fuel or incidental damages that we may have caused along the way, we've got a chance of being able to achieve that. Now, let's see where we have to take it to. D4I. So section D, track number 4, I for incoming. The harbour town. So we're coming in from the west, headed east. So we just go straight along the main line. Turn right into section D there, and then we'll try to set the point so that we can go straight in. Looks pretty simple. Coming from the north, we need to set the points to the left, and then it's straight ahead. So need to make sure that that one's to the left, this one, first one to the right, second one to the left. And provided there's no other train in there, we should just be able to do a drop-off pretty well straight away. 120 kilometres an hour, in theory, we should be able to go here, and we're not going to be able to achieve that. But we'll do our best to go as quick as we can. slow down a little bit here. Well underway now. Probably not too long to go. I guess it's about time that we should pay attention to safety and be really cautious. We don't want to spoil all the good work that we've done so far. But I'm feeling reasonably comfortable now. This is an easy section of track to drive along. I certainly think that it's made quite a lot of difference having the lighter load. There's no way we would have been able to achieve this with that 380 ton train last time, so I guess we live and learn. And perhaps in future we won't bite off more than we can chew, but then again, you know Grandpa. Always trying to push the envelope. Okay, we're certainly close. Yes, we can see Harbour Town in the distance there, the not too far distance. And if I've used my dispatcher's license skills correctly, we should just be able to drive straight into our parking spot, set the parking brakes, and try and pick up a little bit of money finally. We're approaching the outskirts of Harbour Town now. Nice and slow along here, even though there's a 30km/h speed limit. I certainly don't want to risk overspeeding at this stage. Having a little bit of problems with my throttle. I'll just stop here for 1 second. There we go. Now I believe section D should be just about coming up. The points are set to take us off to the right. So far, things are looking good. Getting really close now. Golly, we can't mess it up from here. Famous last word. And yes, it looks like our points are set correctly. Double check we're on the right track. D4I. Perfect. Alright, we need to go far enough in so that we can stop with the entire train contained within the siding. We'll then jump out, uncouple it, and then I think we're just going to either walk or fly to the station office to try to ensure we're giving ourselves the best opportunity to get that bonus money. Hop out. Apply the handbrake first. Air pipes closed. And hoses undone. Okay. We're good. Let's have a look to see where the station office is. Okay, it looks to be on the northeast of where we are currently. That way. Okay, let's go. Aha, here it is. Alright, here we go. Let's see if we made it in time. And what money did we get? Oh, yes, I think we did get a bonus. Let's have a look. 77 minutes allowed. Wow, we just scraped it in at 74 minutes. We did get a bonus. Ended up with a $15,000 payday. And look at that. No damage. No damage whatsoever to any Derail Valley property. So great. Let's go and see if we can go and buy our license for our next train. The DH4. 50,000. I've got just enough. 50,567. Oh, but I've got to pay some fees first. How much is that? What? 16,000. I only earned 15,000. And wow, lots of damage, used reserves. I guess what we should do is go to the maintenance depot, do a manual maintenance on it, try and save as much money as we can and see what we've got left over from our 15,000 at the end of the day. Well, it was a great run. I guess the 15,000 in damages was probably incurred in one of our previous episodes when I didn't maintain the engine. Okay. We'll have to go out this way, then run backwards the way that we came in, and the maintenance sheds are located a little bit further on than where the station office was. So it feels nice to have been able to successfully deliver a load from the food factory to Harbour Town. I'm not so sure how easy it would be to do the return journey in the DM3, however, because we were travelling downhill on the way here for quite a long period of time, which of course means if we were to go back, all of that would be uphill. And we know that we struggle a bit when we're trying to go uphill. So, either we use a bigger engine, such as the DH4, or perhaps I might look at getting the concurrent or multiple user license. Multiple vehicle. Anyway, it allows us to couple up more than one engine at a time. And perhaps we can try getting increased traction going up the hills using more than one locomotive. Multiple unit. That's what it's called. So the good thing is that seeing we just have to go past where we came from, all of the points and tracks are already set. So it should be pretty straightforward for us to get back to that locomotive shed or maintenance shop. Doing a manual maintenance saves us around about 50% of the price of just paying the fee directly at the career manager. So that's a worthwhile saving, seeing that our fees exceeded the amount of money that we earned in this particular trip. If we can save half of it, at least we should come out with some form of profit anyway. Whether it's enough to buy the DH4 or not, well, that remains to be seen, but I don't think it will be. Never mind, if we get the multiple unit license, we can try racking up a bit of quick money with that, and then hopefully it won't be too long before we're back in the cash again and able to buy a DH4. In which case we'll be able to use hopefully even longer trains, or at least manage the ones that we've been trying to achieve with the smaller unit of the DM3 at this point in time. There's the locomotive shops and maintenance sheds up on the left there. Probably about time I closed the window and kept things a little bit more quiet in the cab than they have been all this trip. Still, it's quite an advantage to be able to hear the engine noise and revolutions and all of that sort of thing whilst you're charging up that hill at the great speed of 10 kilometres an hour. Okay, let's go. We need to align the turntable with our track, and fortunately the maintenance section is straight ahead of us as well, so we can just pretty well run straight through the turntable here. Okay, we've stopped in the right position. Everything's ready for service. So we need to repair the damage to our wheels. And to our powertrain. That's probably what was damaged by us changing gears when we shouldn't have. As we'll add a bit of oil as well while we're here. I'm not sure why the sand isn't available to be added, but alright, we still have a mainly full load of that, so we can leave that as. How much is that going to cost us? 6,570. That affects our balance. Yep, 6,570. But I think we still have some remaining fees that will have to be paid back at the career manager. So I'm not exactly sure how much we're going to be left over with when we're all said and done. Let's go back and find out. So although we're coming to the end of this mission, just a reminder for those of you that were interested in how we initially managed to pick up our job at the food factory and how we managed to go and couple up to our train before our departure. Please stay tuned after the finish of this episode. And I've got that as bonus content for you. Okay, I think this is far enough. We'll stop here. Just walk over to the station office and see what the real damage is. We had 16,000 in fees before. We paid 6,500. And we still have 3,300 or so to pay. So that means that it cost us 9,000. We made 15,000. Our remainder 40,000. So obviously not enough to buy the DH4. But I think what we'll do now, seeing that we've got no fees remaining, is that we will go ahead and buy our multiple unit license, but that'll be in our next episode. Please join us then. Thank you so much for watching. As usual, I'd like to request that you like and subscribe. If you're already subscribed and you're enjoying this series, please let your friends know. We can do with all the subscribers we can get. So thanks once again. Reminder, stay tuned if you want to see the preliminaries. But until then, from Grandpa Playing Games, we'll see you next time. Okay, so if you're new to the channel and you'd like to see how we prepared for today's mission, you're in the right place. Or perhaps maybe you've just been here for a while and not sick of my melodious voice yet. Also, thanks for joining. In this section, we're going to go and pick up our orders for the day. And then we're going to prepare our engine, run around and get to the stage where we can couple up with today's load. So we'll start up the DM3 and head on out of the shed. Now, of course, I did a lot of this in the previous episode because I've actually restored from a previous save game. I don't do that very often. I usually like to continue on with my career regardless of whether it's gone well or gone bad previously, but our last episode was pretty disastrous, so I've decided we're going to try to successfully run a load from here at the food factory all the way down to Harbour Town using our DM3. In order to do that, I think that I'm going to have to choose a lighter train than last time, because the weather conditions are still going to be the same. So we're expecting rain en route and slippery conditions. And of course, slip sliding away was the problem we had previously. Okay, so running around near the section D in food factory here, so that we can get a bit closer to the station building or the station office, so that we can go and see what orders might be awaiting us for today. Once we get those orders, we're then able to see where we need to pick the train up from, and we need to make sure that our locomotive is facing in the right direction for the direction we're going to depart from. So let's go to the station building now, or station office. Even in Derail Valley, I'm not too keen to be walking. That's why I like to run the train somewhere near, but in this particular case, I've left it quite a fair distance away. Anyhow, here we are at the station office now. Let's see what awaits us. So this looks like a much more manageable load, 153 tonnes compared to the 380 of last time, less than half. And we'll be picking it up from track C80. So section C, track number 8, and it's an outgoing track. Try and just set up the switches so that we can just run straight in. So we're going to be heading off in a northerly direction, and that means that we're going to have to go back and turn the locomotive around at the turntable so that we can ensure that we're ascending the hill in a front direction, I guess you would say, or with the front of the engine going up the hill. And that's quite important so that we can effectively manage all of the gauges and instrumentation to ensure that we don't blow up the engine on the way up the hill. So we need to go past the loco shed where we just came out from previously and run up the next siding towards the roundhouse where the turntable is located. Okay, we should stop here and reverse after throwing the points across. So if you're going to be really trying to optimize your earnings within Derail Valley, it'd be fantastic if you did a lot of this preparation work before you actually accepted the job, because as soon as you accept the job into the job validator, the clock starts ticking immediately. And if we want to try to claim the bonus, then we need to very effectively get to our train quickly, couple up, and get it to the destination without encountering too many issues along the way. Otherwise, we'll still get paid for the job if we complete it, but we'll probably not get anywhere near the amount of money that we would if we had any bonus time. Still, I guess it's good practice to do the job in the way it was intended to be done. And that is to do all of your shunting and preparation work once you've actually collected the job itself. So it's going to make our time a little bit more constrained, but probably more realistic. It means if we're going to get our bonus, we really need to work effectively once we've collected our job. So we've turned our locomotive around now. We're headed or facing in a northerly direction, and that's where we need to be to perform today's mission. So let's run back out and go past our train, and then reverse back and couple up to it so that we can start today's ascent. So one of the things that has really helped me is to pick up a license that enables me to set the direction of the points from the various maps, like the station maps, the route map, and so on, so that effectively I should just be able to concentrate on driving. However, as you'll see, even though I have the ability of doing that, I still get it wrong quite often. I'm sure that the more I practice, the better I'll get. But in the meantime, it's quite a challenge for me to get to where I'm supposed to be going the first time. So we're going up and down, we're going up the loading and unloading area of the food factory now. And we'll be running around to the section of sidings known as Section C, where we'll then reverse and couple up to our train on track C80. I'm trying to do this as quickly as I can, simply so that I can begin the ascent up the hill as quickly as possible, so that we get at least partially the way up before the rain hits. Okay, here's the points. Now we're back into Section C and hopefully straight up to our train. This is looking good. There's C80 now. There's our train. Now it's just a matter of coming up to it gently and then coupling up, and then we'll be ready to depart. So this is what's involved in preparing a train to get it ready for any particular mission. So it's simply a matter of going and picking up the orders from the station office, finding out where your train is, figuring out the best way of getting there, making sure you're facing in the right direction, and then connecting to and coupling up to that train, and then you're good to go. So I hope you found this part interesting, and once again, if you have remained with us all this time, please go ahead and like and subscribe. We'll look forward to seeing you in our next adventure when Grandpa playing games in Derail Valley. We're coupled up. Brakes are released. We're ready for our departure.